Hi, I'm Sam, and it's early Sunday morning, and a glorious morning. I love this time of year. Look at the colour. Just so rich. So I have a poem to read and a few thoughts to share. I noticed that a video I made a few weeks ago had nearly 5,000 views. I don't really know why that is. When I made that video, I made a video the next day, I think, because I was so self-conscious that everything I'd said in the video with all the views is just a repetition of something I've been saying for nearly 2 years. So I don't know why suddenly that video has had so many views, because I've been saying this same thing for years now. And after I made that video, I was very self-conscious because I thought, oh God, I'm just repeating myself. But I'm a believer that, and I believe this because it's shown to be real as an element of my life, that I'm in a conversation, not just with those that watch my videos. I'm in a conversation with my Creator and the reality to which I belong. And as an expression of that, the will of the Creator and the truth of the reality that made me. I listen to the feedback I get. I listen to that conversation, and I know that there is an intelligence on the other side of that conversation far greater than my own. And so what I said in the last video, I vowed to not say that anymore, because I thought, okay, I've said this so many times and I just sound like a stock record. And then when I decide not to say that anymore and instead to take the channel in a different direction, all of a sudden that video gets nearly 5,000 views. And so to me, that is a sign to keep saying what it is I've been saying. I think what drives me and what has always driven me in my life is this inability to normalise. So I've always been an outsider, always lived on the edge, and that has been very difficult. But from the beginnings of my life, coming from a broken home, and that's an appropriate word, the most appropriate word, broken. So I couldn't normalise it, and the only way I could deal with how I was shaped by that brokenness was to use drugs and alcohol for my whole life. And I started drinking when I was about 8. I started sniffing glue and things like that when I was 10, 11, and taking hard drugs for my whole life because I couldn't cope with the brokenness. So I think that illustrates the fact that there is an inner sense, and you could call that inner sense innocence, that knows truth, knows how things should be, and when they aren't that way, there is an inner schism, an inner brokenness, because it feels wrong. So the microcosm of my own life, you could use that as a lens to look through and view the brokenness of culture, the engineered culture that we live in, and look at what that does to the individual, and the fact that we cannot normalise that either. Some people can see it, some people can't. But so this whole journey I've been sharing is about aligning aligning with truth and letting that truth heal me, and the renormalization of balancing in that truth, and that truth you could call love. And for me, love, truth, reality are all God. So that is where I find balance in accepting the gift of my life, and using the brokenness as a resource. A resource of empathy and compassion. And so I've said this before in an older video, I may have deleted it. An Englishman named Stafford Beer, who was a systems theorist, he coined an acronym, POSIWID, POSIWID, POSIWID. The purpose of a system is what it does. So to determine the function of a system, you look at the results, and then the results tell you clearly, why does that system exist? So if we look at culture, our engineered culture over a very long time, POSIWID, what is the purpose of this system of culture? It is brokenness, it is confusion, it is chronic illness, chronic drug use, whether those are from the medical system, pharmacies, or illicit drugs. It's all the same thing. It's pain management. It's a normalization of the brokenness. So the purpose of a system is what it does. It breeds confusion, breeds fear, breeds illness, and encourages us to invest in the system and to abdicate the gift of our will and say, it's too complicated, I can't handle it. Let me just take care of myself. And then you lead a self-centered life, and that's also the purpose of the system, is selfishness. So I don't fear death or discomfort, because I've experienced enough of that in my life already. And so you know, when you don't fear, everything begins to make sense and you can see it for what it is. So I think that, you know, we're in the midst of a spiritual war, like I said in the video that got all the views, and the war is for your soul. So there are worse things that can happen to you than dying. Much worse things that can happen to you than dying. To live a life of selfishness, of self-centeredness and degradation, and then for your soul to shrivel and die. That's far worse in my book. So what do we do with the gift of our life? I know what I did. I made myself the god of my own desires. I sliced my body up. I sought sensation and pleasure, and all of that just brought me pain. It all just brought me more pain. And I think maybe the purpose of this place we find ourselves, this realm of being, because that's what it is, it's a realm of being. The purpose that seems true to me is to use the gift of our will to live our lives not for ourselves but for others, and ultimately to listen as intently and closely as we can to that voice that speaks to us from beyond, and that voice is the voice of God. And I think that's the only path to freedom, is to use our will to surrender our selfishness. But that we live in a system that steers us completely into selfishness. That's its purpose. So, make no mistake, I'm work in progress. That's why this is painful for me, because I am work in progress. And I'm thankfully being shown great patience and love by my Creator, who gently helps me to surrender. And I was thinking about this yesterday, and I don't know why I'm being shown so much patience and care. Probably because God already knows that I have suffered enough in my life. And I needed love. I needed to feel love before I could change, because I felt that I wasn't loved. And that was, the source of my pain. And so when I do veer off the path of surrender, people reach out to me, always Christians. People reach out to me, and God speaks to me through them. So I'm going to read a poem. I need my glasses. And this is from a book by David White. And I sat here exactly a year ago and I made a video, and it was called Detransition, Surrender and Return. And it's taken me a year really to get to the point where it just takes me so long to change, because my life has just been a cascade of trauma, really. And so I'm very reluctant to change. So hence the patience that God shows me. But I am changing. So this book I got a year ago, and this book gave me the language I needed to begin to unlock my inner world. So I'm not going to read the whole poem. Actually, I will read the whole poem. It's Sweet Darkness from David White Essentials. When your eyes are tired, the world is tired also. When your vision has gone, no part of the world can find you. Time to go into the dark, where the night has eyes to recognize its own. There you can be sure you are not beyond love. Time to go into the dark, where the night has eyes to recognize its own. There you can be sure you are not beyond love. The dark will be your home tonight. The night will give you a horizon further than the one you can see. You must learn one thing. The world was made to be free in. Give up all other worlds except the one to which you belong. Sometimes it takes darkness and the sweet confinement of your aloneness to learn. Anything or anyone that does not bring you alive is too small for you. You must learn one thing. The world was made to be free in. Give up all other worlds except the one to which you belong. An eagle. Oh, I don't think the camera can see it. Oh, God. So, give up all other worlds. Reconnect with truth. It's coming closer. See, that's the conversation. That's the conversation. That is the conversation. reality, reaching out and saying, I see you, I see you, I see you. Oh, wow. I see you. Okay. Thank you for watching. And thank you to all the new subscribers and all the lovely comments I've received. I mean, I try and answer every comment. And I looked at how many hearts I'd given. And it just, I don't want to devalue giving hearts to comments, but it seems appropriate because the comments are all lovely. And I'm very, very touched. So if I don't respond to your comment, it's just because I haven't seen it, or I don't know what to say. So bless you all for watching and being a part of this journey. And I'm going to go for a swim now, so I'll see you soon. Bye.